I noticed my friend walking through my house with the flashlight of her phone. She was inspecting every drawer, cupboard, and nook and cranny.
When she was out of my life, all of a sudden I started getting more friends. All of a sudden I started like attracting more guys into my life. Like my dating life started getting so much better. It's almost like she took possession of me and no one else could touch me.
Hey Tithers, this is M.
And this is Yo. And this is Hither and Tither.
Are we good? There you go. Hey Tithers, welcome to another episode of Hither and Tither. We hope 2026 is going so good for you guys. Before we get started, thank you so much to everybody who commented on our last episode. We hope that all of your 2026 goals are going great. Before we begin, tell us, what are you so proud of? What are like the things that you're excelling at right now? Tither, what are you most proud of right now?
Honestly, today I texted a few people that I know I like haven't been super nice to because my 2026 goal is to be softer. And so I texted a few people and I was like, hey, I don't know if you've heard or not, but I've had my reservations towards you. And I just want to let you know, you've grown on me and I was wrong and I'm sorry and we should be friends. And honestly, I got really good responses. One of them was kind of awkward. One of them was like, I've never heard anything. I was like, oh. So I was like, okay, cool. But no, I've been doing pretty good with my goal of being soft this year. So
Good.
what about
I'm
you?
very proud of you. I think that the thing that I'm most proud of right now, is my gym assistance because I have been going consistently. And I'm very proud of myself, not only for going to the gym, but also not obsessing, because in the past I've had a really big problem with like looking, like constantly trying to weigh myself or like compare myself to other people. And I've been doing really good at just being like, okay, so this is what you're doing today. Just focus on that, and just being like nicer to myself as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we always jump into the New Year's resolutions just full force, full motivation, just kind of that stuff. And it's just hard to go from like 100% because it's January and all of this. And it's so hard to keep up with that like 2 weeks later, or like 3 weeks later. And so I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us.
Now, there's definitely some things that I haven't been doing so good though, because like one of those things, and it's really like you said, like we go full force and we're like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna do this, blah blah blah. But then like actual life hits, and not every day is January 1st anymore, and Christmas just gets farther and farther away, because like during Christmas you feel so happy, and like now 3 weeks later it's like Christmas was such a long time ago that we kind of like, I don't know, we kind of forget everything that we wished for the new year, because we just start living life, like life just life
Yeah,
life
right. Like you
life be
start.
lifing all the time.
Yes. You go back to school, you start your job again, like all of these things, right? Like holidays are just over. And so like now the reality of my goals, like my plans of like waking up at 5 a.m. or
Now
waking
I
up at 4
actually have
a.m.
to
to go
do
do
it.
this, to go do that. All of a sudden, yeah, well, I have to do it. And now all of a sudden they've become unrealistic, right? Because I was shooting for the
Mhm.
stars. And so, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
what's it called? Like I was like overhyped, or I don't know, overachiever. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
overachieving
Overachiever, yeah.
because
Yeah.
because motivation doesn't stay forever, right? So like when you do make your goals, they have to be realistic, dude. And I always forget that
Yeah.
at the beginning of the year.
And they have to be not like intense too, because like then you just focus too much on like everything that you didn't do, and then little by little, like it's a domino effect. Like you stopped counting your calories and you stopped writing in your journal. And now the fact that you didn't show up one day to the gym is just detrimental because you also didn't count your calories. And now you're having a cheat day. And then the next day is also a cheat day. And it just seems like, the farther we get away from January 1st, the harder it is to come back to that mentality. But you and I came up with a good solution, and we decided that this year we were going to do our 2026 bingo, which is really, really fun. And
Yes.
honestly, I'm getting really close. Um, I'm getting really close to scratching one off because some of them on there were like
Whee!
kind of like some of them on there were kind of I made them hard on purpose, but I know there was one too that you like laughed at me because I put that I was gonna resist my urges to eat chips for 1 week, and you were like, 1 week? And
And
I
you're
thought
like,
that
we
was
got to
funny,
start
but
somewhere, girl. And I was
one
like, you're
week
right.
for real. For real, because I already had my bag of chips today. So I don't know what to say.
I know. One of mine was like, I can't even remember, dude, but some of mine were like things that I was already doing in 2025. So, like, it's like things that I should continue to do in 2026. So I'm just like, bingo.
Yeah. Now, I did
So,
include one that wasn't about me, which was Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco breaking up. And I have a big feeling that that one might happen. I hope it doesn't, but at the same time, maybe I hope I do because I feel like we need some good Selena music. I don't know what that's mean, but I hope they don't break up. But at the
I
same
know,
time, I
dude.
feel like she can do so
We're,
much better than Benny Blanco.
I agree. I agree. But if he is better, like we don't really know celebrities and like I understand that, but like if he is better, good for you. But if he's not, ditch him in 2026.
For real. Hopefully he has a 2026 card where he's like figuring things out because come on, let's get with it.
Because like get with the program. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Well, speaking of goals, some people really just need to work on being less aitas. Maybe us too. Maybe that should be on my 2026 bingo card. We talked about a lot of really like aita people in this world. And, I try not to watch the news because people just, I think I say the phrase, I hate people at least once every single day. And that's not to say that I actually hate people, but sometimes I really do hate on the decisions that people make. And today we have another Aita that is pretty, I don't know. Um, but I'm gonna go ahead and read. You ready? Okay. So my friend and I met when I was her hairstylist. Then we realized that we only lived about 6 blocks apart. Due in part to the proximity, we became very close and she would stop by 3 or more times a week. We enjoyed a lot of the same crafts and we had a mutual love of plants. So we often worked together in my yard or hung out by my fire pit. She had a lot of constant personal relationship crises, which I always pointed out that she brought on herself. And it became more and more exhausting to spend time with her. Consequently, I slowly tried to limit our time together, although I did care about her and knew she didn't have many other friends. Sounds a little familiar. Okay, so I went out of town to visit my daughter at college, but before I left, I installed the new security system that I had received. It didn't really occur to me to mention it to anyone. When I was with my daughter, I told her about it and we got on her phone so I could teach her how to watch the cameras at her home also. We have 2 cats and she wanted to be able to see them and interact with them. I was showing her how to see the clips from the motions detected earlier in the day. It was nighttime, so the house was dark, in which case the camera lights are on for detection. The camera lights are on for detection. In a clip from 2 hours earlier, I noticed my friend walking through my house with the flashlight of her phone. She was inspecting every drawer cupboard, and nook and cranny. My daughter and I were in shock. Ugh. I texted her immediately. I asked her if she was at my house today, and she replied that she had been in the backyard picking up sticks, apparently for a fire pit she intended to have at her home that evening. Again, I asked her if she had been in the house. She responded that she had to go into my garage to look for a container. Wowza. I mean, like if you were at home, I'd probably go to your house, but I'd probably ask you before I went in. I then told her I had security cameras now. She laughed and asked why I was asking her if she was there because I had obviously seen her already in the backyard. She had no clue that I had also installed them in the house. So I sent her a screenshot and asked her if she knew who that person might be in my house with the flashlight. She waited a few minutes to respond and then said, "Oh yeah, your cat got out." I asked her how my cat would get out if nobody was in the house, and she responded, "I'm so sorry. I forgot that I was looking in your house for some gel pens because I needed to do artwork." I reminded her that she had
Okay.
just bought 100 of
I'm
them
getting a
the
little bit of
previous week.
PTSD.
Oh no. At this point, I was really getting upset. I told her that I was freaked out that I saw her sneaking around my house with the flashlight, and that made me uncomfortable. I don't know why, but like, she couldn't just turn on the lights. Like, the fact that she was walking around with a flashlight just makes it all
Yes,
that
like why
more
does she
eerie
have to be
and
so
so funny to
sneaky?
watch. She just kept laughing it off, and then when she realized I was really upset, she changed her tune to one of remorse and said she just needed to find something to do because she was upset with her boyfriend. I told her that I didn't think I could spend time with her anymore because I had spent years trying to teach her about boundaries, and our friendship was beginning to exhaust me. So I was telling the story to the guy that rents my basement. Oh gosh, another person, another character in this story. Um, and he said that she is at my house every time that I am out of town. He was used to seeing her around, so he thought maybe I had asked her to do something there. 2 weeks later, she texted and needed relationship advice and acted like since we were so close, it should not be a big deal. I told her what my basement renter said. I was super upset at this point. She became very offended and said it was nobody else's business and I should not have told anybody about it. But he lives there. I told her our friendship was definitely over and not to contact me again. I told her that I was removing myself from the toxic people. Later, I was talking to one of my other friends about it, and they kind of made me feel that I was not a very good friend because I needed to have a talk with her and forgive her. They said that people make mistakes, I need to be forgiven, and she should get another chance. Since she was exhausting me anyway, I just can't bring myself to want to have anything to do with her. AITA, P.S. She did not have a key. I did not always lock my back garage door. Lesson learned.
Okay, I have a lot to say first of all because I went through something very similar. I like I'm so
Oh,
uncomfortable
gosh.
just like reliving that a little bit.
Oh, no.
Um
Uh-huh.
yeah, so I had this one friend and she was my roommate at some point and I started thinking that she would go into my room a lot and
Mhm.
um I was wondering like for
When you
what
were
and
there
why.
or when you were not there?
And yeah, no, no, no. She would go when I wasn't there. Okay. So I kind of have this like OCD thing like I have a mess of my room, but like within my mess I know where everything is. Right? Like Like, I'm gonna
Same,
throw
girl.
this pen and I'm
Same.
gonna know exactly where it landed. And when I need this pen again in 3
Mhm.
months, I know exactly where it's gonna be at, right? And so
Right.
I started to notice that like there were certain things in my room that were like moved. And I was like, I know for a fact I didn't do that. And so then I started taking pictures of my stuff when I would leave my house and to see if
Mhm.
things were moved, and sure enough some things were moved. And then one time I asked one of my friends if I could borrow like her security camera that she had for her house, and it was just like like a
Mhm.
little camera like this big, and it would just like track movement. And so then I put
Mhm.
it in my room one day, and sure enough she went in there and she kind of like saw she saw my journal, but she didn't like skim through it. Like she kind of just like moved it. Like she just kind of like put it like that. And but she was in places where she normally wouldn't have been, like it was like she was scanning my room a little bit. And like she was like moving stuff around like this. And one thing that I noticed that she was particularly like more aware of was my journal. So I kind of want to assume that she has read my journal in the past, which I think is so freaky.
Mhm.
And then I just kind of decided that I was going to
Yeah.
move out. And my mom was like, you need to move out of that house. She was like, you need to move out of that house now. And I was like, she was like, and if you decide you're going to stay for whatever reason, she's like, I need you to put a lock in there. She was like, I don't know if that girl is like obsessed with you. I don't know of this. I don't know of that. She was like, but you need to move out of that house or get more roommates. And I was just like, okay, like, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so that Ah, that was such a scary nothing scary happened, but I think it could
Mhm.
have, maybe. I don't know, maybe she was just, like, a little obsessed, for whatever reason, but this just
Yeah.
kinda brought me
We've
back to
definitely
that, dude,
have
like,
conversations about people being obsessed with you.
I don't know what it I'm just kidding. I don't know what it is. I'm just kidding. But, yeah, no, I've had stalkers. I've had like, college was a wild time for me. Like, it's just stupid. It's so stupid. But, I ended up moving out. And so like just hearing this girl that she just didn't know these things, like what would have happened if she would have never had cameras? And some people might say like, oh, if she was going to do something she would have already done it or like whatever. But like I think like let's
Yeah, but
say they're
being a
not
stalker
killers.
is
Let's
you
say they're
doing
not killers,
something.
right? Right. Right. Let's say they're not going to kill you. Let's say they're just obsessed with you or whatever. But something that I noticed about this particular person was when she was out of my life, all of a sudden I started getting more friends. All of a sudden I started like attracting more guys into my life. Like my dating life started getting so much better. It's almost like she took possession of me and no one else could touch me. So like even if she wasn't gonna
Oh
kill
my
me, even if she wasn't gonna hurt
gosh.
me, all of these things, like, she still affected me, right? Like, she still affected my social life. She's
Mhm.
affected my emotional life. Like, she So, dude, keep those people away. Keep those people
Yeah.
so I'm so glad that she was all
It
of a
sounds
sudden
like
like,
her
"Hey."
energy was
She
very
confronted her so
consuming.
quick. Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, she did say it was
Yeah.
exhausting,
Well, there
so
is an
and I
update.
can relate to that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Um, it says the reason I second guess myself is because of my own weak boundaries. I felt sorry for her and thought that it probably wouldn't happen again, but that was before I found out that she had done it many times before. And my other friend told me that I should forgive is just made a super the other friend who told her that she should forgive is just a super kind and loving person. I know I made the right decision, but of course there is a sadness and loss of what I thought was an 8-year friendship. Oh man. I appreciate all the comments and I do feel good about the decision I made. Yes, doors are locked and security is in place. I mean, I think these boundaries are all definitely necessary. Because like you mentioned before, like just because you didn't do something now doesn't mean that you won't do anything later on, you know? And it's actually very interesting because I read a book once And it was actually a book like on this girl who had a podcast, and some girl approached her and she was like, I want to be in your podcast, right? And I can't remember the name of the book right now, but I'll add it on here so we can all so like I it's a book that I recommend. But this lady really starts consuming this girl's life. And so I do really think that there's a really big like thing that has to do with energy, and just like sometimes our energies just don't match. Like sometimes some people are going to come into your life and you're immediately going to be turned off by them, and there's some people, especially for somebody like me, like I really vibe off of like first impressions. And so there are some people that come into my life and immediately I'm like, heck no. While there are some people that I just be like, oh my gosh, like you're amazing. Like I really want to have you in my life. So I don't know. It's really important to pay attention to those things because only you know yourself. So yeah, it doesn't matter if your other friend is super loving, kind, and she would forgive them. Like you gotta do what's best for you.
It's true. And here's the thing, like these people, they think they're the best thing for you. And so sometimes they can manipulate you into that. Like that's how they seclude you from other people is they start talking bad about your friends. They start talking bad about like all of these things. Like I remember I had told her briefly about like our relationship, like you and I, like our friendship and like how it had ended and all of these things and what happened. She didn't know the details of it, but she did know the bigger gist of it. And I remember every so often that
Hmm.
you used to call me, she would get upset. She'd be like, "Why are you still talking to her?" And I was like, "Well, like it's fine. Like I don't see any harm in talking to her once a year, like once every 6 months." I was like, "It's fine."
Somebody that's
And she
never
was
met
like,
me,
"I just think like
doesn't
if
know
you're gonna
anything
let her go,
about
just let her
me.
go." For And like I remember one time you were FaceTiming and she came and said hi to you on the FaceTime. And I remember you telling me like, I don't know if I like her. And I just kind of like smiled and was like, oh, like I know she can be hard. But in my head, I was like, I think they're just jealous of each other. Like I really thought like they're just jealous of each other. But like looking back now, I'm like, oh my gosh, she was so right. Which I think I kind of did see it, but I also was like, like, you know what, whatever. Like, she's harmless. Like, who cares if
Hmm.
this, if that? But she slowly like snuck her way into my life. And then all of a sudden, I didn't have any more friends.
Ugh, yeah. Yeah, and sometimes that's a hard
So
part where
that
you
was a
can't
wild
see
ride.
what people are doing and how they're affecting your life in that moment. Like sometimes it just becomes such a normal part of your life that you're like, like I don't see how, these things are affecting me, or I don't see the changes I'm making. Wowza.
Right. Well, and
Well,
because she was a real friend.
yeah, I mean, it's not all bad, like there's like good and bad to all people. So sometimes we choose to look for the best in them.
Yeah, it's true. And like sometimes you want to think that you're trying to be careful with them or that they don't really they're not really affecting you and that you're good for them or whatever. I do have a hero complex and I've always known this about myself. Like I love to help people and I and I love to
Mhm.
like be the good part of their life. I don't know. It just, again,
Mhm.
hero complex. And that's not good of me to like want the glory for that. But I do think that that was part of my reason why I stuck with her for so long. I was like, I'm just so good for her. Like she's growing so much, this, that. And so then all of a sudden she was all consuming in my life. So just
Yeah.
be careful.
Well, there's if y'all have ever had any experiences like this, if you have any friendship drama or anything that you would like to share with us, please let us know. We would love to have like a part 2 to this where we could just read off of your experiences. That would be so great.
Yeah. Make sure you also comment, like, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in next week. Adios.
Adios.